You're about to discover something few men have the courage to admit they don't know. And this ignorance has already cost relationships, time, and emotional energy for thousands of guys just like you. Imagine having a calibrated internal radar, capable of detecting invisible signals that reveal any woman's romantic history. Pay close attention because this is ultra rare. Most men navigate blindly, like archaeologists without tools, trying to excavate with their bare hands. Have you ever felt that intuition screaming that something was off, but you couldn't quite pinpoint what it was? Today, that ends. Listen, man, you keep investing energy in women who carry emotional baggage you can't even imagine. And this isn't about judging anyone's past. It's about you having the right to consciously choose where you invest your time and heart. Do you know what happens when you ignore these signs? You wake up one day realizing you've spent months, maybe years, trying to build something solid on swampy ground. The relationship dynamic becomes unbalanced. You feel like you're always chasing, always proving something, always insecure. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think the problem is that you're not good enough, that you need to try harder, that maybe if you were different, things would work out. But no, my friend, the problem is you entered a game without knowing the rules. I've spent over 10 years deciphering these dynamics. I've helped thousands of men see what was right in front of them the entire time. And what I'm about to share now is the kind of knowledge almost no one notices. But that changes everything once you master it. There's a method I call the STEP method. It's a simple framework that transforms you into a professional relationship archaeologist. You'll learn to observe patterns, analyze communication, identify lifestyle signals, trust your intuition, and choose your options for action. But before we dive into that, I need to show you the 5 main signs that reveal when a woman has had many partners. And remember, we're not here to judge. We're here for you to make smart choices. First sign, the way she talks about men in general. Pay attention when she generalizes. Phrases like, all men are the same, or you men always do that, don't come out of nowhere. They come from repeated experiences, from patterns observed through multiple intimate interactions. A woman who has had few partners tends to talk about specific experiences. My ex did this. That guy was like that. But someone who has had many experiences starts to create mental categories, types of men, patterns of male behavior. It's like someone who has tasted wine their whole life versus someone who has only had 3 bottles. The sommelier identifies notes, regions, vintages. The beginner just knows if they liked it or not. She has developed a refined palate for male personalities. And there's more. Observe how she navigates conversations about relationships. Does she always have a story ready? An example for every situation? This isn't necessarily bad, but it's revealing. Does that make sense to you? Second sign, the level of early physical comfort. I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. I'm talking about that natural ease in touch, in personal space, in physical proximity. A woman who has had multiple experiences has developed fluid body language with men. She knows exactly where to touch your arm during a laugh. She knows the perfect timing to lean her body towards you. She has mastered the art of the gaze that lasts half a second longer than necessary. Studies show that our bodies retain muscle memory from repeated interactions. It's like driving. At first, you think about every movement. After years, it's automatic. Her body has learned the dance of seduction through repetition. Also, notice the absence of nervousness. That flutter in your stomach from a first kiss? She doesn't feel it anymore. The anxiety of being close to someone new? That disappeared a long time ago. This creates an interesting asymmetry. You might be feeling butterflies, while for her, it's just another Tuesday. It's not malice. It's natural desensitization. Can you feel the difference? Third sign, the speed of emotional revelations. A woman with an extensive romantic history has learned to accelerate the process of emotional intimacy. She knows that strategic vulnerability creates quick connection, so she shares traumas, fears, and dreams early in conversations. It seems like depth, but often it's a technique. She has discovered that men fall in love when they feel they are special, that she has trusted them with something precious. So she has a repertoire of intimate stories ready to create that feeling. Observe if the revelations seem rehearsed, if the emotion seems genuine or performative, if she tells the same story to different people with the same intonation. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm saying she's learned to use her truth as a tool, and that comes from practice, from repetition, from experience with multiple partners who responded positively to these tactics. It's subtle, but when you know what to look for, it becomes obvious. Do you see how this changes everything? Fourth sign: her relationship with male attention. A woman who has had many partners has developed a complex relationship with validation. On one hand, she might seem independent, not needing approval. On the other hand, there might be a constant need to confirm her power of attraction. Observe how she reacts when she's not the center of attention. Does she get uncomfortable? Does she look for ways to regain the spotlight? Or conversely, does she seem artificially disinterested, as if she's performing indifference? Both extremes reveal the same thing. Years of navigating the dating market have created deeply ingrained behavioral patterns. She might collect social media followers like trophies. She might keep ex-boyfriends orbiting like satellites. She might subtly flirt with the waiter, the bartender, your friend, not out of real interest, but out of habit. It's what I call the retired hunter syndrome. Even without hunger, she still enjoys aiming. The instinct has been trained by years of practice and doesn't switch off easily. Are you starting to see the pattern? Fifth sign: the emotional math doesn't add up. This is the most subtle and the most revealing. If she's 25 years old and talks about a dozen serious relationships, do the math. Started dating at 15? That's 10 years. 12 serious relationships in 10 years? Either the relationships weren't that serious, or they happened in parallel, or her concept of serious is very different from yours. Pay attention to stories that don't fit. Did she live with 3 different guys, but never had a long-term relationship? Does she intimately know romantic restaurants in 5 different cities, but says she hasn't traveled much? It's not about catching her in lies. It's about realizing that the narrative she tells herself might not correspond to mathematical reality. And this usually happens when the real number is too high to be comfortable. Our brain is an expert at rewriting stories to protect our self-image. If she's had 30 partners, but that conflicts with her current values, her mind might genuinely believe it was only 10. Does that logic make sense? Now, I know what you must be thinking. Isn't this sexist? Shouldn't we accept people's pasts? Let me be direct with you. It's not about morally judging anyone. It's about you having information to make decisions aligned with your values and goals. If you want to build something serious and traditional, you have the right to choose someone with similar values. It's like choosing a business partner. You'd investigate their professional history, right? Why would it be any different with relationships? The question was never about her being a good or bad person. The question is about compatibility, about you entering with your eyes open instead of discovering fundamental incompatibilities after investing time and emotion. Some men feel perfectly comfortable with experienced women, others don't. Both are right. The mistake is not having the awareness to choose. And here enters the power of the STEP framework I mentioned earlier. When you observe her behavioral patterns, you're not being paranoid, you're being strategic. When you analyze communication, you're decoding subliminal messages. When you identify lifestyle signals, you're reading the environment. Your intuition, that inner voice you've learned to ignore, it perceives things your conscious mind doesn't process. Trust it. And then, with all this information, you consciously choose your options for action. You can decide to continue. You can decide to pull back. You can decide to go slow. The important thing is that the decision is yours, based on real information, not on illusions. Remember the concept of the relationship archaeologist. You are carefully excavating, layer by layer, to understand the ground where you intend to build. Some grounds are perfect for castles, others only for temporary camps. Do you know what few people apply? The courage to accept reality even when it conflicts with what we want to believe. It's easier to ignore the signs, to get carried away by passion, by chemistry, by fantasy. But smart men, men who build extraordinary lives, they choose clarity over comfort. They prefer a hard truth to a sweet lie. And there's another aspect almost no one notices. An extensive sexual history isn't just about the past. It shapes expectations, comparisons, and future dynamics. A woman who has had many experiences has a vast mental database. Every kiss of yours will be compared with dozens of others. Every romantic gesture will be measured against a catalog of previous gestures. This doesn't mean you can't be special to her. It means the path to being special is different and usually more challenging. She has already seen the common tricks. She has already heard the creative pickup lines. She has already experienced the special restaurants. To impress her, you need to be genuinely unique, not just seem unique. And here lies the danger for many men. They enter an invisible competition with ghosts of the past. They try to be better than men they don't even know. They exhaust themselves trying to exceed expectations they don't even know what they are. Do you realize the weight of that? On the other hand, a less experienced woman might marvel at simple gestures. She might deeply value experiences that for others would be mundane. The building of the relationship happens on virgin territory, without the weight of constant comparisons. I'm not saying one option is better than the other. I'm saying they are different games with different rules. And you need to know which game you're playing. There are men who thrive on the challenge of conquering experienced women. They like the competition, the need to outdo themselves, playing the game on hard mode. Others prefer the simplicity and purity of building something from scratch. They prefer to be the teacher instead of the student. They prefer to lead instead of impress. Again, there's no right or wrong. There's what works for you. But let me tell you about a disturbing pattern I've observed over the years. Many men ignore all these signs out of fear. Fear of seeming insecure, fear of being judged, fear of losing the opportunity. So they swallow their intuitions. They silence their concerns. They convince themselves that they are being modern and open-minded, when in reality they are being cowardly. And do you know where that leads? Resentment, bitterness, relationships where the man is constantly insecure, constantly questioning himself, constantly trying to prove his worth. It's exhausting to live like that. It's destructive to your self-esteem. It's toxic to the couple's dynamic. The truth few admit is that historical sexual compatibility matters, not because one number is morally superior to another, but because it creates specific psychological dynamics. A man with little experience with a very experienced woman might feel inadequate. A woman with little experience with a very experienced man might feel insecure. Balance matters. Similarity of values matters. Alignment of expectations matters. And you have every right to seek that balance. Don't let anyone convince you that having preferences is wrong. Don't let social pressure force you to accept what doesn't make you comfortable. Don't sacrifice your peace of mind on the altar of political correctness. Do you know what's truly ultra-rare these days? Men who have clarity about what they want and the courage to pursue exactly that. Men who don't apologize for having standards. Men who choose instead of just accepting what comes along. Be one of those men. Use the signs I've shared as tools, not as weapons. Use them to understand, not to judge. Use them to choose consciously, not to discriminate cruelly. And most importantly, use them to protect yourself from situations that don't serve you. Because ultimately, this is about you. About your happiness, about your future, about building relationships that strengthen you instead of draining you. Every minute you spend in the wrong relationship is a minute stolen from the right relationship. Every bit of energy invested in the incompatible person is energy lacking to find your ideal person. Time doesn't come back, man. Opportunities pass. Years fly by. How many men do you know who are stuck in lukewarm relationships because they were afraid of seeming demanding? How many settled for less than they deserve because they thought they couldn't choose? Don't be another one. You now have a set of tools that 99% of men don't have. You can see what they don't see, understand what they don't understand, choose while they merely accept. It's like having night vision while everyone else stumbles in the dark. Use this power wisely. Use it responsibly. But most importantly, use it. Don't keep this knowledge as theory. Apply it. Observe, learn, adjust. Every interaction is an opportunity to sharpen your internal radar. And remember that archaeologist metaphor I used at the beginning? You now have the tools, you have the map, you have the experience of thousands of previous excavations that I've shared with you. The terrain of her past is no longer an impenetrable mystery. You can excavate with surgical precision. You can identify the important artifacts. You can understand the history without getting lost in irrelevant details. And with that understanding, you can decide if this is the ground where you want to build your future. Some grounds are perfect for deep foundations. Others are best used for temporary constructions. There is no bad ground, only ground unsuitable for what you want to build. The clarity you gained today is rare. Very few men reach this level of awareness. Most continue in the dark, stumbling from relationship to relationship, repeating the same mistakes. You are no longer one of them. You have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the power to choose consciously. Now, before you forget, if this content has opened your eyes to realities you didn't perceive, do this now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, because what I shared today is just the surface. There's much more strategic knowledge waiting for you, many more tools to master the game of relationships. Don't be one of the 99% who keeps navigating blindly. Be the 1% who sees, understands, and chooses. Your romantic future depends on the decisions you make today. And today, you are more prepared than ever to make the right decisions. Remember, you are now a relationship archaeologist. You have the tools to excavate, understand, and build on solid ground. Use this power, transform your future, and never be caught off guard again. The game has changed, the rules are clear, and you are ready to play on another level.